morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's Steve of the 90 Day, and it's part 2 of sugar. You remember, anything that's not natural, most of it's poison and toxic, and lots of it used by diabetics. Right, here we go. Polydextrose, light S. It's good for spreads and fill-ins. Sometimes used in confections, beverages, frozen desserts. It's water soluble, it's carbohydrate. It's manufactured from glucose, developed by and manufactured by Deniso sweeteners. It's unique in only being partly metabolized by the body. The result is it contributes 25%, 101 of calories of sugar and 11% of the calories of fats. It can improve the mouthfeel. Yeah, be wary. Use at your own risk. Saccharin, main ingredient in the popular pink packets. You got sweet and low. It's one of the more well-known substitutes. Saccharin was popular years ago, but fell out of favour when it was found that laboratory rats developed cancer after using it. It's not recommended for pregnant or lactating women. There's a lot of controversy on this, so caution should be exercised. And by caution it means I'd leave it out. Raffi knows. It's not something you'd associate with sweeteners. It's found in legumes and is a cause of flatulence. Sorbitol, originally derived from the mountain sorbberry, naturally occurring, and came from fruits and berries. It might be useful in replacing sugar in recipes for diabetics' diets, used in making jams, canned fruits, homemade candies, etc. Sorghum, natural sweetener by pressing due to the stalks a certain type of sorghum bicolor, called sweet sorghum or sorgo. But as with everything that's natural, some of it's okay. There's also traces of other sugars in there. So diabetics and others concerned with sugars treat maple syrup the same as sugar. Maltodextrin, sweet isodigested carbohydrate made from cornstarch. Corn's cooked, add acid or enzymes. A process something the body uses to digest and break starch into smaller chains. These chains are composed of several molecules of dextrose held together by very weak hydrogen bonds. Digestion of maltodextrin starts when it enters the mouth, beginning reduction of maltodextrin into smaller linked glucose molecules. That normally comes from GMO crops. Maltose, barley malt. And you got malitol sweetener. It's basically a reducing sugar. It's become popular in health stores and food stores as a replacement for sugar. It's less sweet, but adds a better texture and pleasing nutty flavour to baked goods. Liquid barley malt is available in barley extract and barley corn malt. It's 100% barley and usually tastes as strong as blackstrap molasses. Though it's mostly a carbohydrate, it contains small amounts of vitamins and minerals. That's that on that. Now we got the good sweetener called malitol. It's available in syrup or a crystalline powder form. Yep, it's one of those favourite sweeteners. Pleasant sweet taste, similar to sucrose. It's about 90% of sweet sugar, claimed to be non-carcinogenic and significantly reduced in calories. It's made by the hydrogenation of maltose, which is obtained from starch. It does not caramelise as other sugars do. It may also be used to replace fat, as it gives a creamy texture to food. It's slowly absorbed. Therefore, when maltol is used, the rise in blood glucose and insulin response associated with ingestion of glucose is reduced. So it's easier on the stomach. And it's got one excellent solution here, or another use that I don't know why they all use this stuff. In doses larger than 20 gram, it acts as a laxative, and sometimes it's sold as a laxative for children. It's sometimes used as a diluent for heroin or other drugs. I won't even bother with that myself. That's me. I try to avoid sugar, except in coffee. But then I've stopped drinking coffee, so I don't need to take sugar too much. Stevia is a naturally sweet plant native to Paraguay. 30 times sweeter than sugar when it's unprocessed. There's been a shed load of studies and patents on stevia, known to be natural, 0 calories, 0 glycemic index. Through a process of extraction, you can get the stevia powder that's 300 times sweeter than stevia. It's claimed to be safe for diabetics and hypoglycemics. 2 drops of the liquid stevia is equal to 1 teaspoon of sugar. Sucralose is what's contained in a yellow packet of Splenda. Splenda's gaining popularity not only because it's made of sugar, it tastes like sugar almost, but it measures the same as sugar. It's 600 times sweeter than sugar. However, if one is not using the Splenda brand, you'd have to do some math to figure out how much to add to your baking. Concerns have been raised about sucralose because of the chlorine in it. And recent studies, going back to the 80s now, recent studies gave out its damaging effect to health, so recommended not to use it. Then you got a sweet one, a brown of sugar sweetened with acetylflame, potassium. It's 200 times sweeter than sugar. It's an alternative for people who are limiting their intake of sugar. Limiting your intake, stop using it. You limit it. You can use it in cooking, sweetened sauces and drinks. All sugar can be replaced with sweet one. However, recipes for most baked goods require sugar for proper volume and texture. And guess what? It's toxic. Don't use it. Right, we've got trehalose. It's a multifunctional sweetener. It's found in honey, mushrooms, lobster, shrimp, and foods produced using bakers' and brewers' yeast. It's made from starch by an enzymatic process. It's half as sweet as sucrose or table sugar. It's hydrolyzed when you get in the stomach and absorbed in the small intestine. It protects and preserves cell structure in foods, and may aid in the thawing and freezing process of many food products by assisting in the maintenance of desired texture of the food. It's also stable to heat. It's more likely to be used for cell preservation than for sweetness. Right, Whalo is a patent blend of all natural sugars. Offers the same sweetness, taste, and food properties as sugar, with a 70 to 80% lower glycemic index. Sounds good. Both fructose and lactose go into Whalo. Extremely pure crystalline sugar, contain no allergens or any proteins that could possibly be allergens. They're 2 simple sugars and are not known to cause any allergies. If in doubt, hey, don't use it. Sugar alcohol. They don't contain ethanol, which is found in alcohol beverages. Sugar alcohols, i.e. polyols and polydextrose, occur naturally in small amounts in fruit and veg. berries, apples, plums, etc. But in large scale they're manufactured from common sugar. They're chemically similar to sugar, less sweet and fewer calories. Only a few are permitted for use as food additives: isomalt, lactitol, malitol, malitol syrup, malitol sorbitol, sorbitol syrup, and xylitol and erythritol. Now, if you have trouble pronouncing a name, don't use it. Somebody's gone to the trouble of making a name that you can't pronounce. Ha. And here we go on with this. Sugar and alcohol. It's resistant to the metabolism by the bacteria in the mouth, which break down sugars and starch to release decay-causing acids. So they're generally not considered to promote tooth decay. In fact, studies have shown it might help to prevent tooth decay, mainly because you're not using sugar. You can also get laxative effects. That's basically that. And on the latest study of this century, in the 80s, 2008, sugar is addictive. It's more addictive than any drug. We tested it on rats. Rats drank more alcohol than normal after the sugar supply was cut off. And that shows that it was binging behaviour caused in the brain. Anyway, that's it for today. No more on sugar. But don't forget, most of the sweeteners are toxic. And a lot of the toxic ones go into your favourite beverages like Pepsi, Coke, Lucozade, and the rest. That's why they put it in small print, so you can hardly read it. Anyway, have a good day, wherever you are. Or a good night, and see you tomorrow. Bye.